with Jimmy Clark.
Hey, good day to all you great stewards of land. It is Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark, brought to you by First National Bank and Trust of Elk City and Sarah America. Happy Monday, everybody. A little breezy out there today. It's going to be more breezy. I'll have the most recent forestry department from the state of Oklahoma's fire report out for you. Looks like today is going to be the worst day of the week for any wildfire, so we'll discuss that a little bit later on. Let's check out some temperatures in our ag area. 82 degrees at Hollis, 77 at Bessie, 74 at Arnett, 75 at Lahoma. Slap out your 72 and 66 degrees at Boise City. Out here in the Panhandle of Texas, we have more of the same. 74 at Lipscomb, 72 at Miami, 83 at Odell, 84 at Goodlet, and what is Dozer? 85 degrees. A little warm out there today. All right. Had quite an interesting weekend. It was a good weekend, but it was interesting. Saturday, I got the peanut combine all hooked up, and my ex-brother-in-law, you want to call him, he's always a little brother to me. He came over and helped me rebuild the two 4-inch hydraulic cylinders on the lift basket on the peanut combine. We got to do one on the back of the truck, and the other one I couldn't get the pin out, so we just rebuilt it up on the combine. Interesting though, it was kind of I just bought this combine last year and didn't get to use it, and this year I'm using it. It's going well with it. But we had I had Wes from Hydro King come out and replace all the hoses on the combine, every one of them. I don't know how many feet of hoses they are. It's quite a few of them. He come out and replaced them all, and I've never used any of the hydraulics on the combine. So I lifted it up, and the front hydraulic cylinder was just blowing oil out the top between the ram and the shingalasa. What am I trying to think of? The can. And the barrel. There we go. I knew the word. When I get on the show, I get stupid. I'm sorry. You guys just bear with me here. Too much on my mind, making sure I got all the buttons pushed and reading the right stuff. The back one wasn't leaking, so Jeremy said, well, let's just rebuild them both. That way they'll be the same. When we took the one on the back apart, the nut and the piston was not on the rod. Like, uh-oh. And I looked in there, and sure enough, it was in the bottom. And it looked like it had stripped part of the threads off of the cylinder, the piston, and the nut come off and piston. Well, we got them out of the barrel, and yeah, I'd pulled the threads, and I was like, it's Saturday. Where are we going to get this fixed? So we rebuilt it, and then we put it, we screwed the nut back on, and it actually had 2, 3, 4 threads that it held on pretty tight. And I thought, well, it's done anyway. So I welded the nut on, and it's holding good. I used it a bunch yesterday, so everything's going good. And what else was going on? There's got to be $1 million worth of chains on that combine. It's an old. I'm not sure what year it is. I know it's at least 25 years old. It's an Amadas, 92, 97, I believe. And it's a 4-row combine, and it worked great. I filled a semi-load up yesterday out of my first field. And here's the crazy thing that happened yesterday. So Nelson pulled up beside me with the dumping hopper, and I unloaded in him. And then he started to pull off, and I was like, I'm going to get out and clean some of the sand out of the combine header and take a break there. And as I was getting out, he was driving off, and I looked on the ground, and there it was. A Glock 45 pistol with the magazine in it. So I picked it up. The side I was seeing on the ground, because I just barely seen it, was just mud and a little bit of rust. Not a whole lot of rust on it, but it looked rusty, but it was a bunch of mud. And on the flip side of it, looked brand new. It looked nothing, no dirt, no rust, no nothing. Well, last summer, almost a year and a half ago, when I was out moving the side rows, I always carry a pistol majority of the time on the farm, and the first 2 rounds in it's birdshot for snakes and or critters. And so uh, it somehow or another it came out of my leather holster, and I don't no longer use that leather holster just because of this. And man, I looked everywhere and couldn't find it. I actually thought I lost it between the fence line and the river. And when the dogs and I went down there uh, messing around on the river that day, uh, well, I put two and two together where the pistol was laying, and I looked to where my wheel drive was on my side row, where I started and moved my side row, and it was in line with it. So I must have lost it when I climbed over the side row or something. But it's been a year and a half ago. Last year, I found my Browning flashlight that I got from Hobart Farm and Gardens that I lost the year before, fell out of my pocket. So that's just crazy. So I have it. I didn't do anything with the pistol because I know it's loaded. I mean, unloaded gun's worthless in my book. So it was loaded. So I haven't done anything with it because I thought about sending some pictures to Glock and just to tell them it was a good story for a pistol. I mean, it's been peanut dug twice. It's been sewed over with triticale once. It's been irrigated across there probably 20 times with the side row, and then all the rain we had this year so far. And I promise you, if I clean it up and take it apart, it's still in great shape. I'm shocked. When I get all my pictures, I'll post them on my personal page just so you guys can see what I was talking about. It was just crazy that I decided to get off that tractor yesterday and check the combine, because if I hadn't, and the combine's run across it twice, and because it was it was in 4 rows that I'd already thrashed. So I don't know. It's just amazing how good those Glock pistols are. So I'm happier today because I've been depressed for almost a year and a half because I lost my favorite pistol. And so, I don't know. It is a cool story, I thought. Oh, well, let's check out what happened overnight in our big O world of agriculture. Oh, FYI, you guys, tomorrow on the Oklahoma Farm Report on Oklahoma's Ag Network at 8 a.m. in the morning, you need to be listening to Casey Shepard. She's interviewing the Cotton King. So this ought to be good. They're talking about cotton, and they're not talking about anything else, or Larry down at Hobart or wherever. No, they're just talking about cotton and stuff and comparing to last year. So it's going to be a great interview. So if you guys get a chance, listen to it. If not, I'm going to replay it tomorrow. First chance on my show. It's got to be good. It's Rhodes. What do you expect? So, all right, let's see what happened overnight in the big world of agriculture. Soybean futures were higher in overnight trading on optimism about restarting trade with China. President Donald Trump said over the weekend that U.S. will work with China to end the ongoing tariff war between the world's two largest economies. Officials from the U.S. and China spoke on a call Friday that Chinese state media said was constructive. Trump said he wants the Asian nation to again buy U.S. soybeans ahead of a meeting with the Chinese president that's set for the end of the month. The meeting between the heads of state has whipsawed markets after Trump initially said he would meet with the Chinese president on the sidelines of an economic forum in South Korea at the end of October. It was apparently off for a brief time after China imposed restrictions on rare earth materials, prompting Trump to say he might not meet with the president from China, instead would impose an additional 100% in tariffs on goods from the Asian country. Let's see here. Soybean futures for November delivery jumped 9 cents to $10.45 a bushel overnight on the Chicago Board of Trade. Soy meal added 380 to 284.80 a short ton, and soybean oil futures dropped 0.14 cents to 50.99 cents a pound. Corn futures were up a half a penny to 4.23 a bushel. Wheat futures for December in Chicago fell a quarter of a penny to 5.03 and a half a bushel overnight, and Kansas City futures came up a quarter of a penny overnight to 4.91 and 3/4 cents a bushel. Potash and phosphate prices fell last week, while nitrogen was mostly unchanged, according to the commodity reports from the Mizuho Securities USA. I guess that's how you say that. Close enough. The price of potash in New Orleans fell about 1.5% to $3.28 a ton, while cost in the Midwest declined 0.7% to $3.73 a ton. Phosphate prices dropped about 0.3% to $8.51 a ton. Phosphate affordability is at its lowest level since 2008, continuing to raise concerns about the demand deferral and destruction. Nitrogen prices, meanwhile, were mostly unchanged last week at $3.76 a ton in New Orleans and $4.35 a ton in the Midwest, the firm said. Supply disruptions and delays in capacities coming online have led to higher ammonia prices, with the benchmark Tampa price recently settled up $40 in October, following a $53 per metric ton increase in September. There you have it. Strong winds, wind advisories, and high wind warnings, according to the National Weather Service, have been issued for much of North Dakota, South Dakota. Winds in North Dakota are expected to be up to 55. Gusts in central South Dakota, meanwhile, will reach as high as 60. Further south, cold and dry weather is forecast for western Kansas and eastern Colorado, where hard red winter wheat planting is underway. Freeze warnings and frost advisories have been issued for the area as temperatures overnight into Tuesday will fall to around 28 degrees. Winds in that area and in our area also, there's wind, what they call them, wind advisories east of here, not here, but I'll bet it's blowing here today. We're expected up to 45 miles an hour. And humidity is forecast to drop as low as 12%. So you guys know what that means, right? Okay, today is the Oklahoma Cattlemen's Association happy hour. So let's take an OCA break, and we'll be right back after this.
He loves talking about farming and ranching. Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
Do you know Mickey Lively with Oklahoma Farm Bureau Insurance? If you do, you already know this about him.
When people meet me and get to know me, I think they do truly walk away with a feel of, you know what, when that guy says something, he means it. He means what he says what he means. I'm a straight shooter. I'll tell people up front, hey, I might not be able to beat that price. One thing that I always do when I meet with a client or with a new customer, I look over all their insurance stuff. And there are times I hand it back to them and say, hey, you've got great coverage at a great price. If you're not happy with your agent, let's look at making a change. But if you don't have any issues with them, hey, you've got another set of eyes that looked at your policy and you've got good coverage, you don't have anything to worry about. That goes a long way, because a couple of years from now, they may have a rate increase. I'm Mickey Lively, and I work for Oklahoma Farm Bureau, and my office is located in Greer County.
Mickey Lively and Oklahoma Farm Bureau in Greer County.
Call 782-3827. Life insurance and annuity products offered through Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company. Property and casualty products are offered through Oklahoma Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance and affiliated companies.
You don't want to let your cotton set in the field day after day waiting to be gin. Now to better serve you, the cotton farmers in Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle, Lone Star Gin has processed over 540,000 bales of cotton. They've got locations in Pampa, Texas, and now in Burns Flat, Oklahoma. Lone Star Gin has the ability to process over 2,400 bales per day. All they do is gin cotton. Go to LoneStarGin.com for more information, and you can find them on Facebook.
As a farmer or rancher, you're always looking for ways to save time and money. The Apache Hay Wagon from Everett's Welding in Visay, Oklahoma will help you do just that. The Apache Hay Wagon eliminates 80 to 90% of hay waste with its unique design. It hauls multiple bales, saving you time and money. Go by Everett's Welding today and ask to see the Apache Hay Wagon. You'll be glad you did. You can also visit them online at everettswelding.com.
You're so busy out on the farm, you don't run into town unless you absolutely have to. The folks on the east side of Wheeler make it easier for you to stay on the farm. They'll deliver high-pro feed in bulk to your place. They deliver bulk feed in 5 states. They're used to it. But if you're in town, stop in and ask about lick tubs and talk to them about fertilizer. They've got plenty of that too. Your cattle and crops don't have better friends than the folks at the Wheeler General Store. Sure, they're on Facebook, but mostly they're on Highway 152 on the east side of Wheeler. That's Wheeler General Store.
This is the Elk City Livestock Auction Market Report for Friday, October 3rd. 1,990 head were sold. 5 head of steers at $459 brought $485. 9 at $533 brought $432.50. 6 at $553 brought $440. 15 at $604 brought $403. 7 at $646 brought $385. 11 at $680 brought $320. 11 head of heifers at $359 brought $465. 6 at $425 brought $423. 3 at $493 brought $365. 9 at $534 brought $362.50. 16 at $563 brought $390. 13 at $744 brought $307.50. 11 at $821 brought $325. Butcher cows were $24 to $178. Butcher bulls $130 to $214. Bred cows $18.25 to $46.50. Pairs brought $2,500 to $42.50. Elk City Livestock Auction 3202 South Highway 6, Elk City, Oklahoma. Sale every Friday at 9 a.m. To consign, call Brandon Hickey 580-497-6095.
Now, back to more of Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
All right. Here's your ag weather update for Lipscomb, Texas. Out in Texas Panhandle, 75 degrees, humidity's 26, dew point's 38. The winds are out of the north at 23 miles an hour with wind gusts up to 35. Month-to-date precipitation, 0.16 inches. 8-inch soil temperature, 64 degrees. All right, let's check out the Central Crop Care Grain Market update, and let's see if it'll update for me today. Let's have it. I think I'm going to have to change my websites where I get that, because this in here acts funny every time I bring it up. Let's see here. Corn, December, 423, up 3/4. March is 437, up a half. Soybeans, November, 1033, up 13 3/4. January 1051, up 14 1/2. Soybean meal, December 284.80, up 380. January 288.50, up 410. Soybean oil, December 51.42, up 29. Hard red winter wheat's the only thing in the negative on the grains right now, and it's December 489, down 1 3/4. March 509, down 1 3/4. The cattle market looks a little better today. October lives, 242.05, up 180. December 243.82, up 2. Today will be the last time I read live and feeders October's. February live, 244.52, up 170. Feeder cattle for November, 373.12, up 142. January 369.77, up 47. Hey, I got an interesting message yesterday on Messenger, and I'm going to try to clarify this the best I can, and I'll let Brandon clarify a little more. So he sent me a nice message, asked me check on it, and I didn't get to check on him because I know Brandon was busy yesterday, but I know this much for sure. In the message, he said, you know, a lot of people don't do Facebook, and a lot of guys, you know, don't listen to the radio every day, because you guys know that every chance I get, I talk about if, like at Elk City, for example, if they're not taking any more cows and bulls, they still take calves. They've never shut that off. We're in a very, very rare situation here this year, and as of now, 6 weeks in a row, the Elk City Livestock Auction has had to quit receiving cows and bulls. And there's a reason for it. I mean, they stop somewhere between 550 and 650. Is they only have so many pens at Elk City that's allotted for cows and bulls. Got plenty for calves, but only so many pens. So they have to quit receiving them when they run out of those pens. And that's the big reason. And yes, the only way, there's only, well, at least 3 ways that I can think of that you'll know that is, and I've emphasized it a couple times in the last couple weeks, is please call before you bring 1 cow or 20 cows or 2 bulls or 100 bulls over to the Elk City Livestock auction to make sure they have room. Sorry, it's crazy what's going on at the sale barn with cows right now and bulls. So just, it's not going to be a happening thing every week for the next 10 years or a year. It's just going on 6 weeks in a row now. And so all I can tell you is, if you're on Facebook, get on Elk City Livestock Auction Facebook and check it out. Last week's the first time I ever seen them put that statement out on a Wednesday. It's usually on a Thursday. And I know it's got to be just totally makes you mad when you show up over there with some cows or bulls and they won't take them because, number one, you didn't get a hold of anybody, or 2, you don't have Facebook or didn't look at it, or 3, you didn't hear it on my show. So I'm sorry. That's all I can tell you is that I know it's got to be frustrating. So if you don't get a hold of Brandon on the phone, shoot him a text. And because I've heard a couple of guys say I didn't get a call back. I mean, it's crazy over there on Wednesday evenings and Thursdays, and I could just imagine how many phone calls he's receiving or people looking for this and that. So I'm going to just go out on the limb here and say, if you can't get a hold of him by phone, shoot him a text. And if you don't know how to text, get a buddy to text it in there for you. Check Facebook page out, or, listen to the show. It's worth your time. I'm sorry some people's had to show up over there and couldn't unload, but the backup is you can take them on over to Clinton and let them stay in there till today's sale at Western Oklahoma Livestock. That's all I know. Sorry. That's all I can help you with on that deal there. Okay. I want you guys to listen to something. So what's in the news right now that's affecting every one of us is China, soybeans, cattle prices, the border shutdown with the New World screwworm, President Trump talking about lowering beef prices with a deal with Argentina, and that's what's going on. I seen this last night and I listened to it, and it's really interesting. So I want you guys to listen to this real quick. I think.
Here, and number 2, hey guys, it's Will from the Back 40, and I hope you're having a great day. A couple of days ago, I did a video about how the tariffs on Brazil were going to have a double impact here in the United States. Number 1, I said it's going to drive up beef prices at the grocery store here. And number 2, I said in the long run, it could drive down beef prices for cattlemen selling their stock. And Scott here asked the following question. He says, explain to me how it's going to cause beef prices to go up at the grocery store, but go down for cattlemen out in the marketplace. I thought I'd answered it in the video. I didn't answer it for Scott. Came back again today and said, hey, I'm still waiting for the answer. So here you go, Scott. This is the answer. Now, to clarify, the way the market exists right now is we've got 2 things going on. We've got all-time low herd sizes in this country for cattle. They're almost at a 60-year low, which means there's a scarcity of beef in this country. And we're trying to make up for that in trade policy by allowing primarily Australia and Brazil to dump a lot of beef into this country to keep the price at the grocery store at least at manageable levels. Now, these tariffs going into place on Brazil of 50%, and the fact that beef coming from Brazil is not exempted, is going to cause the cost of beef coming from Brazil to go up by 50%. What that means is the strategy that American grocers are using and packers are using in order to drive beef prices down a little bit or at least keep them at manageable levels is going to be pulled out from underneath them because that strategy is not going to be as cost effective. So what you're going to see as the cost of beef coming from Brazil goes up, the cost of that supplemental beef going into our grocery stores is going to go up as well. That's part one. So what effect does that have? Well, what I said in the video is, and you can see this from historical buying patterns, you can Google it. There are a lot of articles out there right now mentioning it, talking about past patterns. But what happens is when beef or any other protein or grocery item reaches a certain level of cost at the grocery store, consumers transfer from that protein source into other sources of protein. So eventually at $13+ a pound, let's say for ground beef, you put your own number on there, people are going to stop buying ground beef and they're going to move to other sources of protein like poultry and pork. Now you can document this through a lot of sources that are out there on the internet. The USDA tracks this. There are some different grocery wholesalers that track this, but there are multiple articles and studies available that will validate this point that I just made. Okay, so that's how prices. Hey,
I thought that was a pretty interesting outlook on how that works, and I thought I'd just share it with you guys. How about that? All right, let's take a OCA break, and when I come back, we'll have your Northwestern Oklahoma Ag Weather Update and continue on with Today in Ag. Be right back after this.
Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
Kent Watkins here with SEI Agritech in Elk City, Oklahoma. It's time to plant your fall cover crops and set your fields up for success. We have the seed that you need to protect and enrich your soil all season long. And remember, we are a proud Livestock Nutrition Center authorized dealer. Feed that keeps your herd healthy and strong. Stop by or call us today and get everything you need. SEI Agritech on South Randall in Elk City, Oklahoma, and follow us on Facebook.
Trade in and save on Milwaukee tools this month at Napa. Trade in and save $250 on a 1-inch D-handle extension anvil high torque impact wrench with one key. Trade in and save $100 on Milwaukee 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 3/8 inch impact wrenches. Trade in and save $50 on Milwaukee ratchet kits. Trade in any professional brand competing impact wrench or ratchet, pneumatic or cordless. Trade in and save on Milwaukee tools this month at Napa in Oak City, Weatherford, and Hinton.
We try our best not to tell the customer no, but to find what they need.
Farming is no game, but when you're at the game and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a huge game changer. Valley Irrigation is where farming meets in-zone efficiency. With AgSense remote technology, farmers become MVPs of their fields. Real-time play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you beat the game and be in the game. Visit Knutson Irrigation to become the MVP of your field. Online at KnutsenIrrigation.com. They have your in-field coverage and your back.
Next spring, you'll fire up the tractor, turn the earth, plant the seed, and be on your way to another harvest. If you take care of your tractor right now. Before you put it up, do the maintenance so you'll be ready to go next spring. Everything you need to keep your tractor performing is at Camrock Supply. All the grease and hydraulic fluids and filters. All the nuts and bolts, all the tire patches. All the stuff is at Camrock Supply. All of it. Next to Fred's Steakhouse in Elk City. When it's time, make sure your tractor is ready to go.
We feel like we want to be good stewards of our depositors' money. It's what keeps Community Bank going for as long as it has. This bank's seen it all. Starting 1901, you've seen a few droughts. You've seen some market crashes. Oil and gas come and go a few different times, from the 50s to the 80s to the 2010s. And we're here. We never sit there and go, oh man, I hope our doors are going to be open tomorrow. We're going to be there. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm Jason Redd, and I help make the difference at First National Bank and Trust of Elk City and Sayre.
Member FDIC.
My mom used to take me to the local dairy when I was a little girl, and I always was interested in learning where my food came from. I didn't grow up on a farm. I'm from the city, but please don't hold that against me. We owned a farm in Colorado and again here in western Oklahoma. My name's Becky Brown, and my husband's name is Tony Tummins, and together we own BT Butchers, a mobile meat processor. We bring our trailers to you, your place, processed your way. Please find us at B as in Becky, T as in Tony, butchers.com. That's btbutchers.com. We would love to help you feed your family. The short wait list and 2-day turnaround means we move pretty fast, and since we come to you, it really is convenient. Not bad for a girl from the city. We would love to help you feed your family.
Jimmy's all wound up and ready to go. Here comes more of Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
Putnam, America, over there in Dewey County, 77 degrees, dew point's 37, humidity's 23, northwest winds right now at 18 miles an hour with wind gust up to 25. 3-day average 4-inch bare soil temperature 71 degrees, sunset at 6:55, sunny and 82 degrees, mostly clear and 46 tonight, and sunny and a whopping 73 degrees tomorrow. But the winds will be light out of the northwest to west. So I've got some responses from the Fowler Agency text line, and I'd like to share one or two of them with you. One of them is, it actually comes from a cotton farmer there around Burns Flat, and he agreed with that little bit I played there, and he said the other half of that is, if Trump is going to do something to help out with beef prices by lowering tariffs on Argentina, they're going to bring the product in, which will help to supply. But the packers are not going to lower the price going to the grocery store. Yep, I agree with that 100% too. Also want you guys to remember, and, most of the beef that we get in from Argentina, Brazil, on and on, is brought into the United States for lean trimmings to put with our fat cattle. And we don't produce enough lean trimmings to mix with our fat beef, if that makes sense to you. Always keep that in mind. I'm not agreeing that we should be bringing in Argentina or Brazilian or Australian beef. I'm not saying that. I'm just reminding people we do need their beef for lean trimmings to go with our cattle, our fat cattle. So just something to think about there. And I totally 100% disagree with the way this deal with Argentina was brought out in the public last Thursday evening from President Trump to lower beef prices. I think our beef prices are good right now. The demand in the grocery store with the consumers is still good. If you get on some page where they're commenting about beef prices, blah, 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 et cetera, you'll go through the comment section and you only see about 1 out of every 5, 7, 8 comments talking about, yes, I've switched to chicken and beef, or chicken and pork. That's all you see. So the demand for beef and the protein that you get from beef is still good. My orders are still coming in strong as ever, and for local processed beef, so just like I said, it's just one of those deals. Check it out. Also, I don't know who it is. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't say their name if it was. So I got this comment, and I'd like for you guys to comment back, if you would. 580-225-9697 is the Fowler Agency text line here during my show. And since the day one that I started this show, my bosses here and coworkers always say, hey, we like listening to what happened to you in your role in farming and ag. And so, the bosses says, hey, talk about what happened to you last night or yesterday on the farm, if anything different happened, or blah, 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 or over the weekend. So I had a text come in, and that's me. I listen to everybody. It says, talk about things people are interested in instead of what you did over the weekend that affects everyone. I always do. And I talk about what happens to me on the farm a lot because you guys can relate with it. Does that make sense? And if there's something you guys want me to cover on my show, please let me know. I'll do my best. 580-225-9697 is the Ag text line. I try to keep it localized. My area of coverage, main area of coverage, is northwestern, southwestern Oklahoma, Oklahoma Panhandle, and parts, a lot of the eastern Texas Panhandle, and parts of southern Kansas. And I try to keep things in that area, what's going on, get people on from that area and talk about it. And of course, I try to keep as much politics out of my show as I can, because I have Republicans and Democrats listening. And one will disagree with something I read off the Ag News. I try to do it off the Ag News. That way it's not my fault. If you're a Republican, you don't like what I say. If you're a Democrat and you don't like what I say, I know. I get it. I promise you. So just, if there's something you guys want to hear about, just let me know. Okay, here's the most recent report from the Oklahoma Department of Ag, Food, and Forestry, from the Forestry Department. Statewide discussion, it says here, warm, dry, and breezy conditions will develop midday, increasing fire danger across Oklahoma today. Weekend rainfall welcomed and beneficial for some areas. It wasn't around here, is east of here. Fell short of wetting amounts in most of the western central Oklahoma. Dry air remains in place through Wednesday. Wind speeds will be less of a factor Tuesday and Wednesday. Today presents the highest fire danger for the week. Fire danger will be the highest in southwest Oklahoma today, with moderate to high fire danger remaining in place throughout the midweek. Statewide, initial attack activity is expected to remain largely successful, with enhanced a large fire, 300 acres plus, probable today. Significant fire potential remains low. Large fire occurrence will be dependent on engine equipment access to wherever the terrain limitations reside at. So there is a really good chance of fires in southwestern, central western, and northwestern Oklahoma today. So guys, be out there today and be alert. Check your chains. Check for bad bearings. Cotton harvest is in basically getting really wound up. All out throughout western Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle. So you guys be careful with your equipment, check your bearings, and peanut harvest is going on. Wheat sowing is still going on. It's not hot and heavy like it was, but peanut and cotton harvest is underway. So that being said, be alert out there. La Nina. Talked a little bit about it last year. The Climate Prediction Center says that there's a 71% chance of La Nina conditions develop from October through December, while also issuing a La Nina watch. However, one meteorologist expects La Nina to make a quick exit. Farmers across the U.S. are gearing up for a potential volatile winter, as National Weather Service has placed the country under a La Nina watch. But what does that really mean for the months ahead? Eric Snodgrass, principal scientist for Nutria Ag Solutions, says the winter's pattern could be one to watch closely. He said, here's some highlights through December. Expect an early peaking La Nina with strongest impacts likely around Christmas. Look for cold, snowy conditions in the north, dryness in the south. Watch for frequent Arctic intrusions and an active Ohio Valley storm track. Recharging soil moisture before freeze up is critical, especially in the Midwest. Persistent cotton belt drought could influence next summer's corn belt outlook. South America faces a wetter north, drier south split, which could affect global crop markets. So what is the La Nina watch? The Climate Prediction Center says there's a 71% chance of La Nina developing October through December, which means conditions are favorable for the development of La Nina within the next 6 months. La Nina just means trade winds are fast across the equator. Snodgrass explains when that happens, it tends to give us a very loopy jet stream throughout winter. The looping pattern is something Snodgrass says influences everything from temperature swings to precipitation. When you think about La Nina winters, they have all kinds of different flavors, he said. We've had 4 La Ninas in the past 5 winters. This would be the 6th one in that time frame, and the big question is it going to deliver typical La Nina conditions? Historically, La Nina brings colder, snowier conditions across the North United States and dry down here where we are. We typically find that we're dry from the Southwest, the Sun Belt to the Cotton Belt. Snodgrass says we tend to be snowier and colder to the north across the Pacific, Northwest, Northern Plains, Midwest, and Great Lakes. La Nina winters tend to be cold, tend to snow, but that's not a guarantee. He said he thinks this year's La Nina is expected to be really short-lived. We think it's going to peak early, probably around Christmas, and probably quickly exit. The big question I have is what's going to happen to the drought monitor between now and then in April when we're thinking about a La Nina winter. Moisture already is the top of the mind of many growers. We need rain around here bad. And unexpected wet spring in some regions, conditions turn dry quickly, leaving soil moisture depleted. There you have it. Let's take an OCA break. We'll be right back after this.
Oh, Jimmy's all wound up and ready to go. Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
You farmers like saving money on stuff you got to have? You can save instantly when you buy 2 or more eligible Bridgestone or Firestone ag tires at Blair Tire and Feed. Get $300 off all eligible AD, 2IF, and BF radial tires and Bridgestone radials. Get $200 off all eligible non-AD2 radial tires and get $25 off Destination Farm and Destination Turf. Blair Tire and Feed at the Crossroads in Blair, Oklahoma. Save instantly on the tires you got to have.
Hey folks, this is EJ Gredeman with ASCO Equipment out of Elk City, Oklahoma. If you need rental equipment, I got your back. From excavators to wheel loaders, telehandlers, and forklifts, we rent the brands that you know and trust. With flexible terms, responsible service, and expert support, we're here to keep your job on track. Need equipment? We're on it here at ASCO Equipment. Visit ASCOEQ.com or stop by our Elk City branch, 513 West 20th here in Elk City, Oklahoma, or you can just give me a call, 580-243-9233. Appreciate it, folks, and y'all have a blessed day.
In the land of Ford, October is really Trucktober, a time to challenge ourselves and help truck buyers. The stock is in, and our place is covered with over 100 pickup trucks. We even had to ship some over to Truck Island. They're all waiting for loving families to give them a good home. To meet the challenge of selling 100 trucks by the end of October, we're going to take big trades and make big deals. The Trucktober Challenge is on at Barbara Dyson Ford in Elk City, online at barbardysonford.net. Truck lovers, come and get them.
To raise market-topping cattle, you need the cream of the crop. Black Hereford Ranch invites you to their 21st annual Fall Cream of the Crop Herd Bull and Female Sale. Saturday, October 25th at the ranch near Crawford, Oklahoma at their new time, 2:30 p.m. Or bid online at cci.live. Selling 70 deep, wide-body, sound, good-looking 18 to 24-month-old herd bull candidates. They're good, beefy kind, tested and ready to turn out. Also selling 20 of their very best spring-bred heifers. Hereford, Sim, Angus, Charolais, Angus, Composite, and American Cross, the kind that'll produce market toppers. For sale information, videos, online catalog, and requests, visit blackherefordranch.com or call 580-309-0711. The Black Hereford Ranch Fall Cream of the Crop Herd Bull and Female Sale, Saturday, October 25th at their new time, 2:30 p.m. Join them at the ranch at Crawford, Oklahoma, or bid online at cci.live. Beef up your cattle operation with the cream of the crop at Crawford.
It helps to work with someone who's been down the same road you're traveling. Someone who knows what you're up against and what you're going through. When it comes to farmers and ranchers, that's us. That's who we are. Our lenders know ag inside and out because we're producers too. We approach it like a partnership. We want to put ag producers in position to be successful. We're very laid back and easy to deal with. And people seem to like that. We think you'll like it too. I'm Marty Maddox, Great Plains Bank in Elk City is here to lend farmers and ranchers a helping hand. Member FDIC.
Do you love the great outdoors? Maybe you enjoy trap shooting or skeet shooting, or maybe getting some target practice in at the firing range is your thing. If you're that person, you love guns. Hobart Farm and Garden has a whole room dedicated to guns, gun safes, ammunition, and more. It's quite impressive. You got to go check it out. They are Western Oklahoma's platinum Browning dealer and Glock stocking dealer. They're located at 1030 South Monroe in Hobart, Oklahoma. If they don't have it, you don't need it. Hobart Farm and Garden.
He loves talking about farming and ranching. Here's more of Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Here is your Hobart Farm and Garden ag weather update for Lone Wolf America. 83 degrees, feels like 81. Humidity is 20%. Dew point's 38. The winds are out of the west-southwest at 19 miles an hour. Wind gust up to 29 currently. 3-day average 4-inch bare soil temperature, 72 degrees. Sunset at 6:57. Breezy and 89 today with southwest winds, which will be switching here pretty quick. Be out of the north, even gustier and higher. Breezy and 48 degrees tonight with north winds 10 to 24. Sunny and high of 75 tomorrow with north winds, light north winds, not lightly, but light north winds 6 to 9 miles an hour. There you have it. Okay, let's check out. I thought this was Oklahoma State University Extension Specialist Jonathan Kamek, however you say that, says fall is a critical time for producers to begin fly management. Well before pests become a visible problem. They still are a problem. The cows this morning. Ugh. He explains that winter feeding habits create the perfect setup for the future infestations. If you think about a pasture situation, you might drive out there on your tractor, drop a bale of hay, put a ring over it, and let those cows eat, he says. As they stand in there feeding, they're going to take a mouthful of hay, pull it out of the bale, and drop most of it on the ground. Over time, they drop hay mixes with manure and urine, leading to a buildup of organic material that creates the perfect breeding ground for stable flies. Kamek notes that the problem continues to grow throughout the winter. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is, guys, you've seen how many flies we had and still have this year. Imagine what next year is going to be if we have another late wet spring and wet summer like we did this year. So just think about it. Just get it in your brain. He said the problem continues to grow out throughout the winter as we continue to put the hay bales out through the course of the winter. We put more organic material. There is an environment for stable flies to have access to. And when the temperatures start to warm up, when spring arrives, that leftover rotting hay, urine, manure mixture becomes the ideal environment for flies to start reproducing. If that material is still in the ground, it's going to be there for the stable flies to be able to start laying eggs in and reproduce. Kamek warned taking action now by rotating feeding areas or cleaning up leftover hay can help prevent heavy fly populations later. One strategy he highlights for ongoing control is the push-pull method, a form of integrated pest management. We could treat the cattle with synthetic, I always have trouble with this word, pythroid, however you say it, or even an essential oil. Man, my wife, are you listening? Even an essential oil that would be a repellent to flies. That's our push of this system. The next step is to pull, using traps or baits to attract flies away from livestock. We can use something like a pesticide strip, bait it with the housefly sex, for our primordial, however you say that, called Z9, that pulls or tracks the houseflies to that product. He explained they've been repelled by one area and attracted to another. That's how they get the name push-pull. He says the push-pull system allows producers to target flies more effectively without overusing pesticides. By managing where flies go, producers can make fly control more efficient and less stressful for livestock. He encourages combining repellents, traps, and environmental cleanup for the best results. Fly control is really about managing the environment as much as the managing the insect. He said, noting that prevention through management often saves both time and money compared to reacting after they show up. Still, one of the biggest challenges he sees among producers is relying on the same chemical products year after year. You might have a fogger system. If you are using that product, population has become resistant. To combat resistance, he recommends rotating insecticide classes annually and incorporating multiple control methods in the season-long plant. Last year or this year, I should have started using the treated minerals that all three places are cattle. Should just do it year round. And, but I waited till April before I started putting those minerals out. Guess what? Flies were already after it. And it's always recommended if you use minerals with like garlic in it, just either use them year round. It ain't no more expensive than any of the rest of it, or start it in January and February instead of April like I did this year. I think it would have done a better job, but it did do somewhat of a good job. A lot of guys are having a lot of good success with fly tags and powder, where they putting down fly powder, or the ropes where they walk under it and rub with some diesel and fly pesticide. So it does its job, but man, they're terrible this year. They were just terrible this year. So, all right, last thing before we go, I always like to talk about tractors. And so I didn't realize this until I read this story, but it's pretty cool. Born in a Minnesota dairy barn, the Steiger family's homemade four-wheel drive tractor became a global farming powerhouse and a symbol of farm-built innovation. The saying, necessity is the mother of innovation, never ring truer than describing the can-do attitude of farmers creating advances in machinery. The history of modern agriculture is rife with examples such as the finger pickup, the pneumatic planters, coulter chisel, combine, corn picker. All these breakthroughs sprang from the minds of farmers seeking solutions to help them with their field work. Necessity, the need for more horsepower to get field work done, and with the innate engineering abilities farmer displays, wondrous machines emerge from the farm shop. Or in this case, Steiger farm family from a dairy barn. During the 1950s in Minnesota, farmer John Steiger and sons Douglas and Maurice were looking for a tractor that would let them catch all the tilling in their growing operations and allow them to bring in some extra income doing custom farm work. The family considered buying a Wagner four-wheel drive tractor. Mindful of their checkbook and dissatisfied with what they saw in the Wagner design, Doug and Maurice decided they could build their own machine for about $10,000. The local bank recognized that the Steiger boys were gifted with engineering skills, loaned them the money for the tractor, and Douglas designed plans, and Maurice took care of the fabrication, and their daddy assisted with the blacksmithing skills. During the winter of 57-58, the Steigers toiled in their dairy barn, creating their first tractor, a 24,000-pound machine mostly fashioned with used parts salvaged from mining equipment employed on Minnesota's Iron Range. Powered with their creation, the Model 671 Detroit diesel paired with a Fuller 10-speed transmission and homemade transfer case. What marked Steiger's four-wheel drive tractor creation as unique was the tractor's articulated center bend. The Steigers would later modify that design with a patented device they called the swing and power splitter, which allowed for tighter turning radius than the Wagner machine. And that's when we all learned how to turn into the tongue of our trailer, or implements. The Steiger's first manufacturing effort, the Steiger No. 1, rolled out of their barn in 1958 and immediately went to work tilling, during out a whopping 238 horsepower. The number one stood at the top of the hill in power among all ag tractors at that time. A couple of years later, the family built a second tractor, the Model 105, a lighter 115 horsepower. Area farmers took notice of the Steiger fleet. A local dealer, Earl Christensen, said he would sell any tractors the brothers could build, and Steiger Tractor was created. How about that? Pretty cool stuff. I didn't know later that Melrose, that does the Bobcats today, got involved, but that's for another story for another day. Have a great day, everybody.